This is Barry Walford. I'm here to talk about time. This is part of the series on marketing right now, and the title of this particular video is Time is Job One. If that rings a vague bell, it's modeled on the mantra that Ford adopted back in the 1980s. They'd had many years of poor reputation for automobiles with defects, and they wanted to stop that and hopefully change the impression they were creating in the marketplace. So quality is job one was the mantra they adopted to motivate their workforce and to tell the world it's going to be different. Unfortunately, 10 years ago they had to abandon that slogan because they hadn't managed to make it right. However, that slogan is a pretty good one, and most suppliers realize that you have to deliver high quality products to make the sale and beat out the competition. Time is one of the key elements in that quality package, delivering your product when you say you'll deliver it. There's almost a paradox about time. Just think of whether you were frustrated in the last 24 hours. Perhaps you were standing in a bank lineup, or perhaps in a supermarket you were waiting at the cash to pay for your groceries, or perhaps you visited the doctor and had to wait longer than you had hoped before you could see the doctor. Who knows, perhaps you had that classic situation where you called your telephone supply service and heard that ominous message, "Your call is important to us." It's become a bit of a joke. So many of us are concerned that we don't get service when we want it, and yet suppliers don't seem to put effort into it. The paradox is created because we don't complain enough. Of course, there is a hazard in complaining that whoever is serving you may decide to slow up in handling someone who has been so obnoxious as to make a fuss. So suppliers try and be no worse than the competition, and we all get used to having to hang around. That creates a reverse situation where if you get a reputation for always delivering on time or ahead of time, that can really pull in sales. Earlier in my career, I had a friend who was a lawyer, a Norwegian, and he worked on the North Sea gas fields. His pride and joy was always to deliver agreements and advice within 24 hours. Of course, lawyers don't do that, and his reputation became stellar, and he ended up being very, very rich. I think that's an important lesson that we all can benefit from. It doesn't mean doing costly things to rush products to customers. You should instead define your delivery process well so that most often you deliver on time or even ahead of time. You should also make sure that if for some reason this time round you will not deliver on time, that you tell your customer early. In other words, stay close to your customer. That's what I'm suggesting by adopting that mantra of time is job one. Everyone in your company should be working to that mantra. I believe if you do that, you will see great success in your sales. Why not try it? Thank you. Goodbye.